How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the co-beat writer for the Kansas City Chiefs on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today as we're going to break down, now that more things have happened and concluded with the initial 53-man roster, as well as several additions to the practice squad, familiar faces as well. There is just when looking at the depth chart, I think that there still needs to be something that's addressed. So as we know, going into the new season, the Kansas City Chiefs have several players who are still questionable as it is right now. Jalen Royals has got that knee issue. Hollywood Brown has got the ankle issue. And now that Rashee Rice, they know that he will be suspended for the first 6 games of the 2025 season without pay. I did an article about this saying, which of the wide receivers, what they have to do to step up. And while the wide receiving room is still very competitive, one room that still kind of looks concerning when you look at it on the depth chart provided, it's still the running back room. Now, going into the offseason, it was made abundantly clear that the Chiefs were going to prioritize and improve their offensive line. They added Josh Simmons, who is looking to be a bona fide left tackle starter for the foreseeable future in Kansas City. They've also went and they added Jalen Moore as well. Whether he sits behind Jawan Taylor at right tackle or he does find a way to get himself in there. When you look at the way that the offensive line is constructed now, especially with how strong both Mike Caliendo and Kingsley Suamataia had during how well they performed during the preseason, you got to look at the offensive line and think, oh, yeah, that's not that big of an issue. But when I still look at the running back situation, which features Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, Brashard Smith, they did release and put Carson Steele on the practice squad, as well as reunited with one of their familiar players that they drafted. They also did add Clyde Edwards back to the Kansas City Chiefs earlier today. So, when looking at the depth chart, there is still some concerns, at least in my eyes, when looking at the running back room. While Isaiah Pacheco, yes, he's going to look a little bit better than how he looked last season, depending on how he continues to play from his injury recovery. There's still a world where Isaiah Pacheco doesn't bounce back. There's a world where Kareem Hunt shows his age. There's a world where Elijah Mitchell just doesn't pan out in a Chiefs uniform. And there's a world which is most, and I'm not even trying to just talk down on Brashard Smith, not at all. It's just, a rookie. It's a guy who is the 4th string option. He has been making some rookie mistakes that it's kind of like, do you want him? To be a reliable running back? Can he be that guy? Can he be the Isaiah Pacheco of a few years ago? Now, as we know, the Kansas City Chiefs, they have been exploring the other running back options on the trade market. While they just did add Clyde Edwards back to the scheme into the running back room, it kind of makes some wonder if they have already made their move to add insurance to the running back room, at least to fill in. And in my eyes, I see Clyde Harris as a guy who would be behind Kareem Hunt in the pecking order for carries. Obviously, Isaiah Pacheco would be the guy to go with. But going forward, there's a lot riding on this room. I understand that you got Patrick Mahomes. He's been a pretty good scrambler with the football in his hands in years past, as well as Gardner Minshew. Even though Minshew, if he has to start getting the ball moving a little bit more, should he be in the games during the regular season instead of holding on to it for a long time. That's some things that we saw last year during his timeline with the Las Vegas Raiders. But I think that it's a key to the Chiefs running back game to succeed if it means that this offense is going to succeed. While there are the goals of the determinations of throwing the ball downfield and making sure that the explosiveness is back in the wide receiving room, there has to be times where you have to, there's going to be a lot of handoffs, passes don't always get the job done. You're going to have to run the football. And do you feel confident with the guys who are running the football right now? Think about it this way. I've talked about it several times on the podcast in the past before getting into everything this offseason in the preseason as well through training camp. 3 of these guys are on one-year deals. Kareem Hunt is on a one-year deal, Elijah Mitchell, and Isaiah Pacheco, while he's still on the last leg of his rookie contract. I am viewing it as a guy who needs to prove that if he wants to stay in Kansas City, he's going to have to have a really good year. And if that doesn't happen, there could be a lot of concern going forward, because if Brashard Smith is your option coming out of this, if you think about it, when the season ends, unless a extension is reached, Kansas City is just with one running back. Then you're going to have to test your luck in the later rounds of the NFL draft, assuming that the Chiefs once again do well in their make it to the playoffs and make it deep into the playoffs. Brashard Smith, I think he does have a lot of upside, but for a running back room or a Kansas City Chiefs offense that is featuring the likes of Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, Jalen Royals, and returning at one point Rashee Rice, mixed in with Travis Kelce and Noah Gray, the wide receivers and the tight ends, they look really, really good. And I still think that the running back is still a troublesome area for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I would love to be proven wrong. I think that they have the abilities to be able to prove me wrong. However, there needs to be a presence in the running game come week 1 against the Los Angeles Chargers. And, ladies and gentlemen, we're closing in on the regular season. There's not a whole lot of time left to do some fine-tuning. You got to get out to a good start if you're the Kansas City Chiefs to kind of silence some doubters, especially riding a 4-game losing streak, 3 preseason losses, as well as dating back to the Super Bowl loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. If the running game is established early and often in the first game against the Chargers, a team who have a good running game themselves, I think that the Kansas City Chiefs will start to slowly eliminate the doubt of the running back, depending on how they plan to use their offense this season. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts about what you think the most troublesome area is on the Kansas City Chiefs roster, specifically on offense. You can let me know when you follow me over on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day. You're not going to want to miss any coverage of the Kansas City Chiefs as we get closer to the regular season. Almost 1 week away, ladies and gentlemen. Start marking your calendars. Sao Paulo, Brazil. They're almost over there. You can also follow us over at KC Chiefs on SI, where all of our posts get posted for free, exclusively for you. Kansas City Chiefs on SI is the place to get all of your Kansas City Chiefs news. As always, ladies and gentlemen, once again, my name is Dominic Minchella. Be kind to one another, and I will see you tomorrow.